Hi guys, we are back again. This is the 9th episode, and oh, my hair is going crazy. This is the 9th episode in this marathon launch of the Rope of Hope. You guys have been so amazing, so supportive of this podcast so far. I'm so grateful. This is the last episode for tonight, but we are going to jump right on in. So I am your host, Kimberly, for anybody who doesn't know me already. And this is the Rope of Hope. Tonight, I have Philip with me. Philip has a little bit of a party pass. I'm going to let him share about that. And then we'll kind of go from there. So, Philip, before we start, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So right now, currently, I am a model and a commercial actor, and I'm a health and wellness coach. A little bit of my past, I ran a party bus business for 7 years, and did that successfully in many different ways, but it was very destructive in many different ways as well. But I eventually had more of a transformation and took a different path, and got into the modeling industry, got into I went vegan, got big into health and wellness, and took many different little twists and turns down the way towards self-growth. And now I want to use my knowledge to help others lose weight and regain control of their lives. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with things, is really just kind of trying to pass along what I've learned.
So you mentioned that it became a little destructive. Do you think that the party bus business happened because of partying, or vice versa?
Well, I went to Florida State University, and that's a party school. And when I graduated, I never grew up knowing exactly what I wanted to do with my life. Like some people have that clarity, throughout, their childhood and even college, but nothing really, I never felt like there was anything that was my calling. I guess that's the best way to put it. And I partied a lot, and I was in that kind of realm. And when the economy got really bad in 2008, it was right after I graduated. A friend kind of, said that he was going to buy a bus and asked if I wanted to invest and kind of start a business. And we had no clue what we were doing. And that kind of just led to doing that. And, I guess the best way to put it is, I think a lot of good things can happen from bad situations. And that was really actually a blessing at the time, because it gave me some sort of purpose to try to work on something. I think most people just need projects to keep them busy and to challenge them. And that definitely challenged me in many different ways. Even though it was a lot of fun, it definitely challenged me to grow and I have 2 business degrees, so utilize those business degrees a bit and learn how to run a business. And so that's really what got me into it. It really was thinking like, all right, well, I party a lot. Why not create something that, revolves around my lifestyle?
So do you think that with that business, it intensified things?
Oh, for sure. I always say that it was crazier than my actual college life, because at this, you're not going to class, you're not having anything to study for, so you can really kind of divert your attention more to going out and almost kind of using it as an excuse to where, a big part of the business is trying to get other people that are out to rent out your buses. So, hey, like, I got to go out and party. This is my job, and this is promoting. So it definitely kind of intensified it on many different scales. And it's I really truly believe when you're surrounding yourself with those things and it becomes the norm, you're either feeding it or you're driving away from it. And I was feeding it just by being in that whole, even though maybe I knew part of me knew it was destructive a bit. I think the people that I surrounded myself with, the environment I surrounded myself with, made me almost numb to the fact that it was that bad. Until I was able to get out on the other side, I didn't realize that.
Now, for a lot of people, partying has different connotations. Was this partying just with alcohol? Were there drugs involved?
No, it was just alcohol. I mean, I never was into really the drug scene, but I was always, I don't know, like drinking till you're blacked out. It's still like, and I think alcohol is honestly a drug in many different ways. I think it's maybe worse than drugs because it really has the potential to destroy your life on a grander scale. But yeah, it was alcohol, and it was just, to the point of doing it every night and feeling numb and, not really, it wasn't really helping out my relationships with the people I dated and my family. And so there's a lot of destruction in that way. I think that's the best way to put it is there's, just from alcohol, you kind of lose sight of what you're actually doing still.
And how long were you in that pattern?
I'd probably say I started the party bus business around 2009, and I'd probably say till at least 2014, I was pretty much in that pattern. Good solid amount of time. It wasn't until I kind of had this, when I had this desire for more, I didn't obviously know what that meant, but I think I was just getting sick of it. And it's easier to have a desire than actually act upon it because, you don't really know what to do with it. Sometimes, all is the thing that you've been doing on repeat. So one thing that helped me out was a girl that I got interested in and started dating, and who wasn't so much into partying. And the more I hung out with her and didn't go out, that was pretty much what helped me kind of steer into the better direction. And honestly, the more I hung out with her and the more clear I got in what that desire meant and what my potential was that I was kind of overlooking. So it's sometimes like I truly believe when you want something in life and you're asking for it, whatever your desire has, like it'll show up. You just have to be aware. And I believe that's what was that girl was for me in that part of my life.
So it's gonna be nosy. Is the girl still around?
No. And I will share this with you. So, I dated her for about 14 months, and it really kind of, it was great in many ways. And, I was in love with her, and she broke my heart, kind of unexpectedly. And I remember when I got my heart broken and how painful that was on the grander scale of things. But what really comes into my mind when I think about it now is there was this kind of like crossroads. It was like, okay, well, someone helped me grow to this point. I can either revert back to my old self now that she's gone, or I can continue this journey on my own. And I chose to continue on my own. And it wasn't as smooth as it was when I had someone supporting me, but it was powerful to kind of see myself grow and kind of take one step in front of the other and just kind of figure it out. Obviously it's always nice to have a guide, but I think when that crossroad came, I showed up, and I think that always kind of makes me smile a bit because I know I wouldn't be sitting here in the same spot that I am today if I didn't take the driver's seat.
So then what happened? How did that path look for you after the fact?
It looked like it was really more of questioning what I wanted. And I think when you get into relationships, sometimes you don't have yourself figured out quite so much. You often are guided to following the other person that you're in a relationship with and depending on them for certain things. And I think it made me kind of look at what I really wanted and how I was operating to get what I wanted. And the more I evaluated that, that's kind of what made me keep going along my growth journey. And that kind of, I guess I still had the business at that point, but it made me reapproach the business in a different way. It made me reapproach it not from the partying aspect of that's what I was getting from it. It was like, well, let me see what I can do with this business to make it grow and help people. Because in reality, even though it's a party bus business, it was preventing a lot of people from drunk driving. So I looked at it as a service that I was doing for people, and how can I make this service, safe for people, make them feel, in this way to where we're going to get more business and I can grow and see maybe what I can do now that I'm clear. So it really kind of shifted more to the business side of things, to where, I think, like I said, when you have a project and you're working on something, it really was channeling my energy into that of, let me see if I can gain success in this. And that's great and all, when you can gain success in a business, but that doesn't fill a gap if you're not really working on you on a greater scale. So I learned that eventually after that, but for the first part of it, it was really trying to see what I can do with the business that I maybe couldn't do before because I was just cluttered with my thinking and feeling really numb all the time.
So I have a question, and this comes from, stuff that I've been through. I dealt with addiction, and I do remember very well, that, when you first, when you're in that, initial time frame after using, drinking, whatever, and then you're around it, there is that temptation to do it again. Mm-hmm. That temptation there for you, and how did you deal with that?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was definitely there because I had to go back into the business and to that, the whole environment of it. It was there, but I think the best way I can put it is, and I can kind of use the analogy of when I went vegan, and I was giving up meat. I really kind of held it in front of me of how it made me, like how I knew it would make me feel. So if say I didn't drink for a month, and same as say I didn't eat meat for a month. If I put that back in my body, I feel pretty good right now because I didn't have it in my body because I've been eating a certain way. Well, if I put that meat or that alcohol back in my body, I'm not thinking about the good feelings. I'm thinking about like how that could affect me in a bad way. So I held the bad feeling in front of me the most. And I think that's what really was helpful. I'm not saying I was perfect by any means. I just think I was learning to control myself more on what I kind of like shifted my mindset to, is this worth it? Is it worth it? And most of the times it wasn't, because even if I did slip up, I got reminded the next day because my body didn't like that anymore. So mm-hmm. I think whenever you're giving up something, it's always great to kind of put that inside your head of how that might make you feel now. Yeah, it might feel good going down, but I honestly don't like feeling cluttered in my mind anymore. And the more clear I got, the more I really wanted to keep that clarity.
Nice. And so now, I'm assuming you don't have the party buses anymore. You sold
No,
that business.
sold it.
Okay. So how did you get from selling the business to where you are now?
That's definitely a story. But so, it's funny when I talked about the desire of things, and you have a desire. So towards the end of 2015, I just came off the most successful year in my party bus business. I doubled the sales from the previous year. And but the thing is, even though I had that success, I I remember thinking about how I think I'm ready to move on, and having that desire to move on in my head. And then sure enough, like a month later, the new insurance rates came in and they raised it 80% from the previous year. Yeah, which was crazy. And I remember thinking to myself at that time, like, this is just backing up my initial thought. It's like a sign that, it's time to move on. It's actually, life is opening that door the same way, like when the girl came in. It's like it's guiding me. And I don't know what that means for it, but instead of channeling like resistant, like, no, this is defining me, since I was past that, it was more like, well, imagine what's out there and what I can do and where this is going to lead. So it was really more of that excitement. And I just started thinking about how I had this desire to move to New York for the longest time, probably like 10 years prior. It's like I just had this like and I never even really I'd only been to the city one time, and that was like a couple years prior, but I remember just having this like image of the city and living there and thinking like this is definitely something I want to experience. So I kind of thought, hey, it's time. Why not? I got no girlfriend. I got nothing holding me back. Why not do that? So I took the leap to moving to New York about 8 months into that year, and actually kept my business open still. I was running it remotely, and it was pivoting. It was allowing me to pivot myself. It was paying for my rent, running it remotely. I was still able to make some money, even though they raised the insurance rates. But I remember this, like the one thing when I moved to New York and I was channeling that mindset, I was very open. I was very open to whatever. I just said to myself, if I know where I want to be, everything else will work out. And I was, and I thought to myself, I have 2 degrees. I have 7 years of running my own business. I can get a job. I'm not worried about that. But I want to see, wherever life takes me, I just know I want to be here. And if I was to rewind everything of how I got into the modeling industry, like I always said, like things wouldn't have worked out that way if I would have went out any other time. And it just when you rewind it, you start seeing about how life guides you in a certain way. And I remember it just feeling right. And I got into the modeling industry. I mean, I put a good amount of work into it. No one offered me a contract by any means. Like I had to go get one myself, but it really just it felt right, and it felt like similar to what I wanted with my party bus business. I valued my time over money. So if I'm in the modeling industry, I control most of my time because it's not like you're going on 9 to 5. And I knew this is not the end all, but this is a step forward into something else. And where this will lead, I don't know. And it ended up leading me, like I said, to I went vegan. That kind of opened up my mind to so much about the environment. It really kind of got into more of like the activism work, especially just with sustainable living and just seeing how the meat industry pollutes our planet in such a greater scale. And since it happened around the same time I got into the modeling industry, I decided to really put purpose behind my modeling and really speak about that stuff with my platforms. And that led to more of I was always big into health and wellness, and that led into, more of that. And I got my personal training certification in my downtime as a model. And it was kind of just one door after another. It's like, what what can I do next? What can I do next? And it's funny, if I was to rewind it all, it even goes back to like last year when the pandemic hit, and I was living in New York at the time, and I don't know, I had this like really greater feeling of saying like, I want to learn how to grow food. And I went to Maui to learn how to farm. I lived on a farm for 5 months, learning how to grow food. And everything that I've done, it never was planned out. It never had this like major like thing. But I think whenever life kind of happens and I'm open, I feel I know that life is guiding me and I follow it. But each thing has always been connected. So like when I think about the modeling led to the vegan, led to, the health and wellness. And then even like when you think about growing food, that goes to the root of things and controlling your health. If you grow food, it's empowering. You can regain control of your health in a way that maybe you live in a food desert. So really everything was kind of flowing in that way, even though a lot of times I would question like, what am I doing? But in reality, life was working out for me.
So do you think you found your bliss?
Say that again? I'm sorry.
Do you think that you have found your bliss?
My bliss? Yeah. I mean, I definitely have found my bliss in many ways. I think life always challenges you, and I know how to hold on to my bliss. I think that's the best way to put it. I think
I like that.
A lot of the habits that I do each and every day. So I was thinking, and I'll just tell you a little quick story. I went to New York last week. I had 2 modeling jobs, and there was little things that happened to me. Like I dropped my phone and it cracked the screen, and there was like other little things. And I was thinking like, I'm operating on such an elevated level right now that the little annoyances that can't throw me off. So that's the best way to put it, is like, since I'm taking the time for myself each and every day and I'm operating at this level, like I can hold on to the bliss because even when life happens, because life's going to keep happening. It's going to keep jabbing you, but I can hold on to it better than I ever have been before because of the habits that I do. And that's kind of what I've been trying to teach people through my coaching.
I absolutely love that.
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank
you.
So
now, if somebody wanted to talk to you, maybe work with you, how do they go about doing that?
Okay. They can go to my website, philipmangan.com, and book a free 30-minute consultation. Or they can even just go to my Instagram page and shoot me a message. My Instagram is Philip Anthony Mangan. So website's great for that, but yeah, free 30 minutes. There's no charge there, and no harm done if it doesn't work out. But I would love to connect with anyone out there that just thinks they might have a desire for more than what they've been doing. I guess the best way to put it is, I heard this before, is someone that thinks they're might be in the wrong movie. So
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
Do me a favor, go to the Rope of Hope podcast page and put that on there, that information. That way, if anybody is watching this, if they're hearing this, they can connect with you if that is where they're feeling led.
For sure.
Now, I do have one more quick question for you. I've asked this all previous podcast guests, and I will ask it of all future podcast guests. And I told you this was coming.
I know. I'm waiting.
What is the most inspiring thing that has ever been said to you?
That's a tough one. I wouldn't actually even say that maybe it's been said to me. Maybe I've read it, I think. Because I think I don't think always we have to be, our teachers aren't physically present all the time. I think, we can find teachers in other ways. And I would just say that it's that, what is the words? Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get them right so I don't butcher them. It's there's something in regards to you know better, like you're different now because you know better, so you can do better. So if you know better, like don't be so hard on yourself, like for what you've done in the past. You didn't know, but now you know better, so you can do better moving forward.
Oh God, I love that. And with your permission, I am going to find that exact quote and make a slide of that.
Yeah, it's Maya Angelou said it.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Love her. Love her.
Yeah, so it's like
Well,
Oprah was channeling those vibes, and I was like, this speaks to me. This is exactly what, you know.
well, thank you so much for using some of your evening to come on here and speak to myself and speak to our, the followers, the watchers, the listeners. I so appreciate it.
Oh, thank
You
you.
guys, if you are getting something out of these episodes, if they are speaking to you, if they're encouraging you, if they're inspiring you, please consider keeping me caffeinated. Buy me a coffee at .com/this fat girl life. That's how you can support this podcast. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys with the next episode.